Have you seen the guys, the manly hair on the faces, season on the Amazing Race? Two best friends, Joel and Garrett, chasing down that $1 million carrot. Where will you go? How far will you go? If you wanna know, watch the next episode. Two pals balling around, span the globe, representing their home in Idaho. Facial hair gods, two dad bods, made it to the final, going to the final. Every girl's hall pass will be Joel and Garrett from now on.
You're a dork.
Why is your head so close to the top of the screen? You moved your seat back up, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Fine. There. You happy now?
No.
Too bad.
More.
Welcome to our recap of episode 11 of The Amazing Race, the episode in which, spoiler alert, we made it to the finale.
We did?
Yeah. So I don't know why you'd be watching this if you didn't already know that. So if that was a spoiler, then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of the episode...
Please.
Everyone's favorite part of the episode... Irish dancing.
Oh, gosh. Nightmare. The stuff of nightmares. We'll get to that. But first things first.
I can't wait to get to that.
We were in the airport at the beginning of this leg and we had to wait. And while we're waiting at the airport, there was a piano in the airport. And John, because he's good at everything in the world, he went to the piano and just started playing like this melody. It was like concert pianist stuff. Like, it was just beautiful. It was like he should be a professional piano man.
And then we decided he's not that good. John, why don't you play us the piano man?
Yeah.
And he starts going, blah, and then
yeah, we had a little song, like,
and we sang along.
Me and Smythe stood there and sang along.
It's 5 o'clock on a Saturday.
Wait, no, I haven't licensed that song. We can't put it in here, or we'd have to pay for it. Take it back.
It's Tuesday evening. If you change the words, can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I'm like, geez, John, is there anything you're not good at? He destroyed that. So, we ran all the way to the 40-foot cove swimming hole. We swam there and back, and that water was every bit as freezing as you could imagine.
We had prepped for this by doing ice baths. At one point, I was like, let's do some ice baths before going on the show, just in case.
Yeah.
There's a cold water challenge,
and
it didn't help us at all.
No, we were still freezing.
It was freezing cold.
It turns out that doing ice baths doesn't make you like being in freezing water.
And we, from the very beginning, we thought, let's put on life vests because they were offered.
Yep.
In the clue, it said they're not required, but you can use a life vest if you want to. And our thought was, it's the beginning of the leg. Let's conserve energy where we can. Mm-hmm. We knew the water was going to be cold, which makes it harder to breathe anyways while you're swimming.
Totally.
And so that was our thought is let's take advantage of that.
So we got the clue. We did another trick too, though.
Oh yeah.
We knew that you had to change clothes in this little tent. You had to put on a swimming suit.
The clue said that they would have swimming suits available if you don't have your own.
Yeah, and did we have our own swimming suits?
Well, I mean,
sort of.
Kinda.
We had a pair of shorts that doubled as a swimming suit, and we had used it already. We'd been using these shorts throughout the race.
That's all that we brought was wet, dry shorts. So you can wear them in the water or out, and they're the same.
So we were like, oh yeah. So when we go to change clothes all we had to do was take off our shirt, take off our shoes, and run. And the other teams had to take off their pants or whatever and put on a swimming suit. So after we were done with the swimming as well, we also... didn't have to change again. We just kept the shorts on, put our shirt back on, put our shoes back on. I lost my hat and I lost my knee brace there, and I needed both of those. Well, I guess I didn't really need either, but I wanted both of those, but whatever. So we get back to the school. It was us and Corey and Rob in first place at this point. Greg and John, Stephen and Ali, they're trying to do the navigation, and this is something I didn't get because they provided us a map. For the first time in the whole race, we actually had a map.
And I was super excited about that because we know how to read a map. And so we knew that was a strong point for us. When we got back to our car, Corey and Rob were there already, and they had their map out on their hood, and they were starting to figure out the route. We pulled ours out, and we're trying to figure out the route. And then as I figured out part of the route, I thought, let's not waste any more time here. Let's get in the car, start driving towards where I know we need to get to, and then I'll try to figure out the rest as we go.
And I thought, by the way, everyone knew how to read map books. When I thought it was going to be that navigation would not be a factor because we all had a map book. Turns out some people have never used them before, and it's foreign to them. Land navigation is something that we learned not only in the Army, but before GPSs were around. For my job, I used to carry a book when I drove around for my work, and I know how to do the map books. So
at UPS, we never used to have any GPS that would show you where to go, and so we would always just carry a map book ourselves, and you have to figure out where your next stop is based on the map book. And so, yeah, we both knew how to do that, and so we felt good about that.
What I remember on the drive to the theater is the cameraman kept asking us questions, which is their job. They want to get us talking. All of the dialogue you see when it's just us driving or whatever, you wouldn't have that if the cameraman hadn't been asking us questions. So he keeps peppering us with questions, getting us to talk. And I need Smythe to be looking at the map book and navigating, and Smythe's just answering these questions, and I answer the questions, and I almost snapped a little bit. One point I was like, "Hey, let's just focus on navigation now. We need to focus on navigation." And you see me say it in the episode just really briefly, but what you don't know is I'm actually really annoyed at that moment because the cameraman had just kept asking us so many questions. So we get to the theater. The clue it didn't dawn on me immediately that this was going to be a Riverdance challenge, even though we're in front of the Riverdance theater.
It did dawn on me that it was going to be a dance challenge.
And you kept your mouth shut.
And I kept my mouth shut because I did one dance. Neither one of us wanted to do any dance.
Nope.
I knew it was Strasser's turn.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would just step up and say it's my turn. But he didn't realize it was a dance.
I did step up and say it's my turn. But when I read the clue and it said, who wants to get their steps in? I was picturing staircases, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna go in this theater. We're gonna be carrying sandbags up and down stairs." And I was like, "I can do this. This challenge was built for me." And then I read the next part, and it's after I said I'm gonna do it. And it's join the famous Riverdance, and I'm like, this was not built for me. Actually, here's what I honestly do think: if you were going to design a challenge with the intent of getting me eliminated, this is the challenge you would create. You would change nothing. This is exactly the most foreign thing for me, the most outside of my wheelhouse, whatever you want to say. So when I saw that it was river dancing, my heart just fell. I thought, oh no. And I knew that I could learn how to do this, but only if I stayed positive. So we had to change our clothes, we put on the Cumberbatch and the shirt and everything, and my shirt kept coming unbuttoned the whole time.
Cumberbun.
Shut up. It's Cumberbuns. So I put that on.
It's Cumberbatch is a guy, right?
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict. He's named after.
He didn't invent the Cumberbun.
I thought it was named after him.
No.
Or he's named after it, probably. It's been around. Shut up. Okay. Whatever.
The hot dog guy made the Cumberbun.
Oh. What?
Oscar.
All right, this is devolving fast. Let's get back to the
Mr. Meyer. Oscar?
Shut up,
Oscar Meyer.
All right, we just this is this. Welcome to how we always talk.
Sorry, we'll cut all that out, guys.
Yeah, it's gone. So anyway, we practiced with our regular shoes on, and this was so challenging for me. But let me tell you why. It wasn't physically challenging, but it was a physical challenge. But physically, it was easy for me. The challenging part was here. It was all mental. I had to constantly battle mentally to stay positive. And one of the 5 points they said we had to keep in mind was we had to look happy. And I was like, well, that I can do. I was like, I will smile the whole time. So I did. I smiled the entire time that I was trying to do this performance, and I think that definitely helped me. So, but I remember it taking me 15 tries to perform. Now, in the show, it said it took me 8, I think. So I checked my journal, which I wrote that night, and my journal said it took me 15 tries. So I think they were being kind to me in the edit and making it look like it took half as many attempts as it really took. And every time, the first time I went out there, I'd been practicing it, but not with the music, and it was so fast, and I was like, holy cow, this is fast. And then a whole new wave of negativity just hit me. And it was like, you can't do this, you can't do this. And I was like, yes, I can, yes, I will. But what were you thinking in the audience watching?
From my standpoint, I mean, for one, that theater was just beautiful. And I had seen Riverdance before, and so watching it, I mean, my whole thought process was, I can't believe I'm in the theater where this whole thing started, watching the actual river dancers. Like, these are the actual people that do this. It's not like they just brought in some actors that know how to dance.
Many of them I found out later are famous.
Yeah, these are
well
big
known.
time Riverdance people.
I didn't know that at the time.
And the fact that he got to dance with them, I mean, that was the only thing I was jealous about. Is now for the rest of his life, he can say that he actually danced with the Riverdance people, like the actual people
at the place.
In the actual theater. I mean, I was a little jealous of that, but not jealous enough to where I would have wanted to do it.
Nope.
I was happy that he's the one that did it, because it was a super difficult dance, and it was so fast. The music was just blasting in that
loud.
theater.
And
And every time the music came on, I just felt so happy. Like,
I felt sick.
It was so fun to watch. And at one point, I remember when John was doing it, it might have been his first attempt. All of us were in the crowd, were laughing. All 4 of us other teammates, we were laughing in the end because he had the biggest smile on his face, and the way that he just finished that first round. And right away, John was like, "Don't laugh at me." We're like, "Oh, sorry." But it was fun to watch, even though I know it was stressful.
It was so tough. Gosh, I could give a full speech, I think, about the power of positivity and the power of resilience and just grinding it out and sticking with it, because that's what this was all about for me. And the only reason we didn't get eliminated in this leg is because I pushed through it. I forced myself to, and I did mental gymnastics to keep myself positive. And I don't think I've done anything that hard mentally in a long time. Like something that tested me that much. You saw, if you could have seen into my mind during that part, oh man, I would feel bad for you maybe. But it was tough. So, and the whole time I'm thinking of my niece. She's like a river dancer. She's so good at this. And I'm thinking like, man, if she was here, she could help me a little bit. And I'm sweating so much. I'm just sweating like crazy. Like it was coming through my shirt. It was disgusting. It was gross. And my confidence was struggling, but I just kept saying, I can learn this. I can do this. And then you had Patrick, the director of the Riverdance, give me my clue. I was so happy. And he was so kind.
Oh, he was such an awesome guy.
And you got him calling me Strasser.
Yeah. At one point I yelled out, "Let's go, Strasser!" And the guy turned around, he's like, "What do you call him? Or what's his name?" And I said, "Strasser." It's his last name. That's what I call him. And so then he says, "All right, Strasser, let's go." Like it was
that
pretty cool.
actually helped me to hear
Strasser.
him call me Strasser. Somehow helped me, but I just kept smiling my way through it. And when I saw this episode, when it finally aired, like I had to hold back tears at that moment where he gave me the clue. That was interesting. And they left my Rocky quote in the episode, which I did not think.
Yeah, we didn't think there was any chance they'd leave that in there.
Because when I said the Rocky quote about how it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I actually gave the whole quote. I think they cut it there, but after I gave that quote in my little post-leg interview, our sound guy Bruno, he was like, "Nice Rocky quote. They're gonna cut that out." Well, I guess.
I mean, it's a great quote and it fit in perfectly for that situation. So
yeah.
I'm happy they left it in.
So, all right, we get out of there. We get out of the thing, and now we're about 30 minutes. I checked my journal to be sure. We left the theater about 30 minutes after Annalie and Steve left. So that's how long it took me after they were gone. So they've got a 30-minute lead on us heading to Croke Park, the stadium where Hurling is played. And when we arrived at the stadium, oh my goodness, they cut an entire challenge.
Complete challenge cut out of the race.
Yeah, I've never seen this happen. It's never happened to this season. Maybe this happens every season.
I have heard from a previous racer in a different season where they also cut one of their challenges out.
So maybe sometimes, just for time, they decide a challenge can go. And so when we arrived at the stadium...
it doesn't affect the challenge or
the order.
And they just need to keep time short.
So you saw us get to the stadium, run right in, and tear open the clue and do the hurling roadblock.
Yeah, and for some reason Strasser just decided to put this hair tie in his beard.
And then suddenly I have a rubber band in my beard like this.
Why would he put that in his beard?
That was a continuity problem by cutting out the challenge we did. Because what we really did is you see this big ramp, this big circular ramp that we had to go up. And this was tough, by the way.
It was a long run uphill, yeah.
A big steep run all the way to the very top of the stadium, then up a ladder, up to a catwalk at the very top of the stadium, and then up on that catwalk there was a clue box. Mm-hmm. And it said, run around the catwalk to the other side of the stadium, and then abseil down into the stadium. What is abseiling?
Abseiling, I mean, it's a lot like rappelling.
Yeah, it's just a fancy way of
You're just not going down a cliff or a wall or anything. You're just basically hanging there, and you have to use this rope to lower yourself down.
Yeah. And because the way you abseil, there's a pulley right in front of you, so I put my beard in a rubber band, and then I tucked it into my shirt like so, because if my beard would have got into that pulley, it would have ripped my face off. So
there's no getting it out at that point.
No, and my face would be gone. So we abseiled. We were about to abseil down. We were just about to get down, and as we're about to start our descent, what do we see across the stadium?
We heard some commotion across the other side of the stadium, and we look over there, and Steve and Anna Lee come running into the clue box.
Yeah.
And when we grabbed our clue out, there was one more clue in there, but I just thought it was a setup by production to make us think that we still had a chance.
I don't think you can rely on the number of clues in the box to really know where you are, because they will mess with that.
Yeah, and so we saw them run in, and that's when I said, you heard it later after the hurling, but that's when I said, oh my gosh, there's Steve and Anna Lee.
And we were just like, oh my goodness.
We couldn't believe it.
We're not in last place, because we were sure we were in last place. We were sure Steve and Anna Lee had come and gone. So we get to abseil down into the stadium. That was a really cool experience, and it was fun. It wasn't that scary. It was just more fun. I think.
It was fun.
And so
and being able to see that whole stadium from that high up, and I don't know, the whole view and everything was just awesome.
Oh, yeah. We get down there. We go to the clue box. There's another roadblock, and it's hurling.
Hurling, yeah.
Not throwing up.
Strasser taught me that doesn't mean throw up.
Yeah, it means what?
I'm a sympathetic puker, so if you would have thrown up, I would have.
Yeah.
Hurling is a sport, an Irish sport, being that we're in Ireland.
That's not how it's pronounced.
How do you pronounce stomp?
Okay, good point. That's a good point, because in the show, every time my dance instructor said stomp, with his accent, it sounded like stamp to me. And so then I would say stamp, and he would say stamp, or however, but he's saying stomp. I'm hearing stamp, and so I say stamp, and it was just, I felt like a dork when I watched it back.
So hurling is a sport where you're not allowed to hold the ball and run with it. It's a little similar to lacrosse in a way, because you can't carry the ball in lacrosse unless it's inside your
net thing?
Net? I don't know lacrosse very well. But so hurling, you can hit the ball to your teammate, and then you can catch the ball and take like 3 steps before you have to place it on your paddle or your stick and carry it on your stick. So if you're going to move around, it's got to be carried on your stick. You have to balance it. So they had me run through this little course where I had to hit it to my teammate, run around the cones, he hit it back to me, and I would catch it, balance it on the stick, carry it over to the line, where then we had to try to hit it through the goalposts to score the goal. And being that I played baseball my whole life, I thought, I'm so happy that I got this challenge. And I was super excited to do it. My dad always taught me in Little League, don't swing for the fences, just make contact with the ball. And I threw that advice out the window, and I swung for the fences.
Big whiff.
And I missed it.
Yep. That was pretty funny. Yeah. Now, I remember it only taking him 3 attempts. That's what I wrote in my journal, too. In the show, it looked like you took 5 attempts?
I can't remember what it did in the show,
I think he really only took 3 tries to get it, but who knows? All I know is we got out of there fast. That hurling roadblock did not take him long.
It didn't take too long.
We get out, we get our clue, and we're going to Toner's Pub. And Toner's Pub was really cool. I liked it. It was fun. We had those quotes we had to memorize. Go ahead, recite your quote. What was your quote?
First, last, and the other.
No, that's my quote.
Oh, sorry. Mine was about giants and men and ghosts and goblins and witches, robbers and barons. I don't remember my quote. I only memorized it long enough to quote it.
Well, let me tell you something. I can't remember a single step of that Riverdance, not a one. But I could tell you that each imagining himself to be first, last, and only alone, whereas he is neither first, last, nor only not alone in a series originating and repeated to infinity. Because for some reason I can remember every word of that thing.
Do you keep practicing every night?
No, it's in my brain. It's in my brain forever now.
That was fast.
It will not leave my brain. But Riverdance is long gone. So
prove it. Riverdance.
I shan't. But we got. The thing about when we recited our quotes to the pub, the barkeeper, or whatever bartender, was they didn't tell you when you got it wrong. Both of you had to say your full quote, and then they would tell you if you were right or wrong. It wasn't like as soon as you got a word wrong, they were like, stop. So we didn't know what we got wrong, and we had to try it 5 times.
And we didn't know who got it wrong. So
Right.
if one of us nailed it, the other one didn't, we didn't know who got it right and who got it wrong, and they didn't give us any information, just that we were wrong.
It was a well-built challenge. It was a fun one, and it was hard. So we get the clue, and we have to go to St. Patrick's Cathedral,
Yes.
and we took a pretty direct shot right there.
Yep, right past the Gaiety Theater.
Yeah, we did. We passed the Gaiety Theater, and I was already having my first of many nightmares about that place when we ran past it. And they wanted to make it look like it was really close between us and Steve and Anna Lee, which I think they did a really good job of.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't quite that close because they didn't arrive to the pub while we were there, so we knew we were...
There was one turn that we made that we could have gone a different direction that would have been more direct. That's when I said, oh, we could have just gone, or we should have just gone straight there. But it looked like we had gotten lost, and we're like, oh no, we should have gone straight there, and we have to go back. But really, it was just a little bit of a detour. It didn't lose us much time on the route to the cathedral. But
Yep. So we get there. We knew we were in 3rd place. We were so excited that we made the finale. We surprised us. We surprised the world that we made it to the finale, and that was a really cool moment. But afterwards, you never get to see teams that get eliminated.
Yeah.
They are sequestered. They're not like you just don't get to see them. Well, we actually did see Steve and Anna Lee at the location of our post-leg interview. They were off to their side doing their interview. They had just arrived, and they looked all sad. And we asked one of the producers, is it okay if we walk over and tell them goodbye? And we knew they were going to say no, because they would have never let you do that. But the producer was so nice, and she said, yes, go tell them a quick goodbye. So we ran over because Steve and Anna Lee are such good friends of ours.
We love those guys.
We were able to give them a hug,
Yes.
tell them that we were so grateful we got to race with them, tell them to hold their head up high, and have a quick goodbye, and that was really cool.
It was an emotional moment for us because they were in tears, and sad that they've been eliminated, but we also knew that, we have to keep our head up because we got another leg to compete in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, it was we were grateful to be able to give them that hug, but it was a very sad moment.
You know what we should do? Let's just give a tribute to Steve and Anna Lee, shall we?
Yes!
All right. This is our tribute to Steve and Anna Lee. Steve and Anna Lee are the team that we were closest with throughout this whole race. Not just because we were always closest to them as far as like what place we were in, but we connected with them and we bonded with them and we had so much fun with them. We never suspected that Anna Lee was going to be given this edit that made her look like a brat. Because we never saw her as a brat. Because she wasn't. The show is doing a really good job of creating a villain where there wasn't one. They're taking a narrow view of Anna Lee and Steve, and every time there's something that you could that you could cringe about or whatever, they're putting that in, and they're not putting in all of the positive stuff. Which, I mean, they're putting in some of the positive stuff, I must say, but there was way more positives than negatives that we noticed.
See, the thing that I think about is everybody sees them as father-daughter, and so when she says, "Come on, Dad," it's like that's all they're saying is, "Oh, how dare you say that to your dad?" But
how many times did I say, "Come on, Smythe"?
yeah, all the time. They're teammates. In the race, you got to think they're teammates first. That's the first thing, because if you want to win the race, you got to be teammates first. Mm-hmm. Father-daughter second, And so, Strasser's constantly saying, "Come on, Smythe," because
we were teammates first, father-daughter second.
Yeah. Who's the daughter?
I don't know.
Oh man, we might have to cut the laughter out. No, this is gonna go on for a minute.
No, let's just go. Let's just go with it. So
the point is, stop giving her a hard time. They're teammates. She's trying to encourage her teammate to keep up and keep going.
And Steve said that she did a really good job motivating him.
Yes, and Steve, he's a tough guy. Like, even though he might have been slower than her or struggling or whatever, I mean, so were we, and we're younger than him. So, yeah. I mean...
I don't know.
Cut it out. How does he do that?
Joey Gladstone? You are so stupid.
I love Joey Gladstone.
So do I, but I don't tell people that.
Mr. Beaver. Do you have a Mr. stuff? Okay.
No, okay. Let's continue. All right. We're talking about Steve and Anna Lee, our probably closest teammates or closest friends on the whole race. We were friends with everybody, don't get me wrong. We were just with them all the time.
We were with them a lot, and we were constantly, fighting back and forth for position, and so we saw them quite a bit throughout the entire race.
Yep. Here's to you, Steve and Anna Lee. And now a little message from...
Oh, wait, hold on.
And now a little message for Steve and Anna Lee themselves.
Steve Cargyle coming to you from the Ponderosa down here in Texas. Guys, I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it was meeting y'all. Can't wait to one day meet you, the extended Mustachio family. Me and Anna Lee truly had a ball with y'all. Had such a great time. Love watching y'all race. Loved racing with you. Hopefully we can do something like that again one day. Y'all ever get down to Texas, the invitation here is open. Y'all are more than welcome to stay here. And it's always open to special people like y'all that make the world such a better place just being in it. Just seeing your faces, your smiles, hearing your voices, your stories, and watching you. Something we'll keep with us forever, and we'll consider y'all family the rest of our lives. Hope y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all next week, and good luck. We're cheering for you.
After leg 3, I quickly realized that the pesky mustachios weren't going anywhere anytime soon. I loved you guys from the very beginning, and after getting to see how y'all interacted and all of the funny jokes that you cracked with Dad, it just made y'all feel like family immediately. I mean, I can't even put words to describe how thankful I am for the opportunity and for the chance to meet you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys again next week in New York City. And hopefully one day I'll get the opportunity to meet your families as well. But all in all, getting to say bye to y'all was probably the highlight of the goodbyes, and hugging you guys and eating that chocolate that you got us was delicious that night when Dad and I were just depressed. But anyways, we're rooting for you guys, and we love y'all, and we can't wait to see y'all soon.
All right. I can't wait to find out how we do in the finale. How do you think we do in the finale?
You know, there's only one way to find out.
Which is what?
To go back in time and hover over ourselves and watch it.
No. We could just
What?
check my journal.
Oh, you wrote it down?
Do you want to see how we did in the finale? Too bad.
You can buy that on eBay
Highest bidder.
for $39.99.
No, I'm keeping it. So, watch the finale coming up, and we'll
It's
see
an
how
exciting
we do.
one.
Yeah.
It was an exciting
Was that a
one.
spoiler?
Did I spoil it?
No.
I might burn my face off.
See you next time.